Hello, friends and family, and welcome to the 2023 U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship, presented by Discraft. Coverage brought to you by Run Productions, and this is our last major of the year. My name is Holly Finley.
And I'm Raven Klein. Let's have some fun here on day one. We are in Burlington, North Carolina at the Cedar Rock Park. There are 3 courses on this property, and we are playing the Regulator. It sounds like the name of a roller coaster to me. I'm like, oh, let's go ride the Regulator.
It does.
I enjoy it. This is not a new course to everybody, but a new course to a lot of people.
It's my first time here.
Yeah, me too. Starting our card, we have Ohn Scoggins. She is currently 3rd at 2022. Oh, she was 3rd at last year's event. Henna Blomroos, she was 7th at the 2022 U.S.W.D.G.C.
Next up, Valerie Mandujano, who placed 2nd at last year's event. Rounding out the card, Macie Velediaz, who placed 27th at last year's event. First up, hole 1, par 4, 559 feet. On this tee shot, you have a lot of space to air out and not a lot of danger to worry about. Just get max distance, preferably landing somewhere within an area that will give you a nice shot shape for your second shot. I like to land directly in the middle or a little bit on the left side for a hyzer approach. That should give you just a couple hundred feet to sneak down here into the green and have a look at a birdie 3. First up, Ohn Scoggins. Sidearm flex off the tee.
Henna to tee 2nd. Good drive from Henna. Wow. She gets great distance. She's just going to be a little bit right of the gap.
Valerie's shot moving to the right side of the fairway, clips some foliage, and has ended up in the rough over on the right side.
Macie using the right side of the fairway, but good stability choice on her disc, and she comes back toward the center. Still a little right side.
Luckily, Valerie ended up on a path, so she does have some arm swing area to work with. She got a nice full flight, and she can still save par from there. Ohn using her Leopard 3. She sneaks it through the right side gap, and she has a long putt for birdie, probably about 45 feet.
Ohn range. Macie in what I kind of consider the ideal spot. Gets a little nudge off of the tree, and actually it was sailing. That last kick probably saved her. Because of the downslope with the basket, if you throw your second shot a little too high, you can get down the hill very fast.
Henna was so close, she opted for a standstill. Now she has a 25-foot birdie putt.
Valerie's third shot, very smooth, right through the gap. And she will have an easy par putt.
Scoggins for birdie. Because it's downhill, she floated that one a little more than she usually does.
Yeah, and it looked like she had a little bit of those branches in front of her.
Macie jump putts up. She'll be playing for a par.
Henna in for birdie. Valerie with the par save.
Ohn taps in her par. As well as Macie.
Hole 2, par 3, 279 feet off the tee. The main gap to hit here is right in front of you on more of a backhand hyzer line. There's a lot of stuff to miss, and the basket is actually surrounded by a lot of rocks and random pieces and logs and a few stumps. So even perfect shots can hit one of those barrier rocks and end up edge of circle or circle 2. But if you get lucky, you can nestle in and have an easy 2.
First up, Henna after birdieing the first hole. She hits the main biggest middle tree, but still gets a lot of forward progression.
Although there is no OB on the hole, I would recommend avoiding the right side of the hill. Oh, first tree kick, good. Second tree kick, not so good.
Valerie hits the main gap, moving towards the basket. Ooh, and a flare skip.
Okay.
And she'll be putting for birdie from about 18 feet.
I've actually seen a fair number of quote-unquote perfect shots do that same thing, but keep rolling. And it's a tough one because you just don't know which one you're going to get.
Macie hits the inside left gap, and she sneaks up to the circle's edge. That's a surprise.
That's the local route, even though I'm not from here.
Ohn actually had a fairly big opening from where she landed. Henna's position, not so much. She still has a few lines to choose from.
Henna's shot, even though it kicked a tree, still got her pin deep about. Macie gives it a birdie run. No connection, so she'll be playing for par. Ohn to save par. What a great putt right over that rock.
Henna in for par. A solid putt.
Valerie makes good for the birdie here on hole 2. And Macie taps in her par putt.
While I do have a lot of different versions of the Thrasher in my bag, the main go-tos are those Thrashers that I got when I first joined the team. And that just tells you how consistent those stock runs are.
Hole 3, par 5, 889 feet. The tee shot is downhill. You can simply throw a putter or mid straight and that'll set you up in fine position. But if you want to be in birdie or eagle range, you're going to have to get more aggressive with a hyzer finish off the tee. The second shot again can be low and controlled if you're trying to birdie or par. Otherwise, if you want to get more aggressive, you can try to get around that corner. That should set you up with about a 200-foot upshot to sneak up into this tight green where the OB is just 10 feet behind the basket. Mandujano up first. She has a nice nose down angle. It's cutting a little early left to the inside corner, and she's barely made it to the flats. That should be an okay position for par.
The shot from Henna looks really nice. Good angle. She's in the middle of the fairway.
Ohn with a higher route hits a tree on the right corner and kicks left.
Macie also having a little bit left release, but she looks like she cleared everything. And I would actually say is almost in better position being on the left side of the fairway. You don't have as many of these low-hanging branches from the right trees.
Valerie with a safe second shot in the middle of the fairway. Not getting greedy, we do have the OB Creek on the right side.
Ohn caught a branch almost right out of her hand and still got a roller out, which is kind of crazy. I feel like had anyone attempted that, the disc just would have been like, no, not today.
Macie actually in an okay position to send a good second shot out to the fairway.
Again, not getting too greedy, but still progressing forward. Henna in wonderful position. Love that shot shape. Avoids the low branches on the right, but keeps herself in the middle of the fairway and getting a lot of distance.
This is Ohn's third shot. Forehand flex, and it's moving towards that OB corner quicker than I'd like to see. And she is out of bounds in the creek. Valerie with a very brave shot, following the shape of the fairway, moving towards that OB, but luckily at the last minute it flexed out a bit. Oh, I love this forehand from Macie.
Beautiful.
Very low.
This green is really interesting as far as how you want to play it, because the safe shot, avoiding the OB, leaves you with a putt at the basket with, like Holly said, the OB only 10 feet behind. However, if you try and risk it, get closer to the OB so you don't have to putt at it, there's this down branch on the right side that can get in your way, and a couple hanging branches, if you have a higher putt, that make it just as nervy to run, even though there's no OB directly behind the basket.
You saw how fast that finesse shot from Valerie moved when it hit the green. Good control from Macie. She'll have a drop in.
Ohn hitting the, I would consider the only window on the right side. And look
at this.
Oh, man. I mean, Henna, I'm glad she was able to scoot that high, or that far forward, because anything further back, and that would have been much trickier.
Double knee putt for Henna gets her the birdie here on hole 3.
That second shot was beautiful from Henna.
Even though Valerie's drive was a bit shorter, she was very easily able to save par there. And Ohn went out of bounds, which will put her at a 7 here on hole 3. And Velediaz in for par.
This course has a lot of holes that are, I mean, for this field, birdieable, but savable because of the par 4, par 5. So if you don't lose your head, you can still save it. Moving on to hole 4, par 4, 487 feet. The tricky part may seem like the tee shot with OB on the right, but that is where you're wrong. It's actually just setting yourself up for an easier second shot. The basket is up to this tiny fairway on the left side, so if you go too far or too short off the tee, you're pretty much only playing for par. Uphill slope the entire way and very fast ground.
Henna up first after a birdie on the third. Her shot was a bit low and hits the center set of trees. She makes it halfway down the fairway.
This shot looks really nice from Valerie. Oh, catches the last tree and does kick her to the right side, but looks like she's lined up with the fairway.
Macie's backhand misses the center set of trees and flare skips up the hill. Premium from Macie Velediaz. Ooh, Ohn takes the inside left route with a forehand, and that has put her in perfect position. Henna from a knee takes a forehand Annie. Let's put herself on the uphill fairway towards the basket.
That is
shot.
Beautiful.
What a standstill from Valerie. It's a 10 out of 10. Ohn back to her leopard 3 for this uphill approach. And she's in the circle putting for birdie.
Macie with the forehand approach into the bullseye. I do like the forehand approach coming into this hill. Really trying to get rid of or lower your possibility of the roll away. A good approach from Henna. Valerie for birdie.
Wow, what a putt from Valerie. That second shot and the putt comboed?
And I feel like the run back should be both.
I agree.
Beautiful putt. Oh, Ohn for birdie. Hits a good amount of chain, but low, and she falls out, so she'll tap in the par.
Henna in for par.
Macie with the birdie. Played that whole textbook.
I have a shortcut down here.
Ohn drops in her par. And shares her shortcut knowledge to the next hole.
Good to know.
Hole 5, par 3, 248 feet. A downhill, tight tunnel with water behind an elevated basket. You can throw straight ahead at the ground and let your disc scoot up to it, or if you're feeling saucy, why not ace run it? But if you miss, you're gonna be OB in the creek behind. I like a nice gentle shot, preferably a putter or a mid. Just nestle it a little short and scoot up there to the koozie and drop in a birdie too. The water is forgiving this week. It's very low. You can get your disc back, so there's no fear about sending your shot down there. First up, Valerie. She's in the circle right at the drop zone putting for birdie.
Macie goes with the forehand off the tee. You can hear her say too much, so she missed a little bit, but got a great kick. And she's back in the fairway. She'll have about 35, 40 feet. Beautiful.
Wow.
Henna standstills a putter to 15 feet.
Oh, this way to sit.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, she went for it.
Went for the ace run, and she is long in the water, OB.
I will say with this hole, if there's one you're going to ace run and be okay with it going OB, it's hole 5, because the drop zone is inside the circle or just at the edge. And
cleaning up the par, no big deal.
fantastic.
She's got the sad face, like, where's my disc? I see it, yes. Macie decided to pitch up. Her birdie putt was a little longer than she liked.
Valerie in for the birdie. Nice solid putt. And Henna in for the birdie as well. Beautiful drive.
Macie tapping in the par.
Introducing Disc Raptor, the best way to clean and dry your discs on the course. Make short work of mud, moisture, and dust in a quick spin. Made of quality materials that are built to last. Compact revolutionary design with synthetic turf and high surface microfiber cleaning surfaces. Lightweight and easy for travel. It's there when you need it. Welcome to the future of disc golf.
Hole 6, par 5, 612 feet. You have to throw over this creek to be in good position, obviously. Up the hill, your best drives, I actually think, go right of these trees and get to the top of hill, lining you up with this second fairway. If not, you're laying up short so that you can be in a better position, and then you're picking the left or right side of these 3 center trees and trying to push your way into the circle. With this being a par 5, I expect to see a lot of birdies on it this weekend.
Valerie up first, hits a tree on the right side, kicks left, but she's still safe on the short side of the creek.
Wow.
Henna hits the gap and moves to the right side of the trees like Raven mentioned, which puts you up, I think, in a better position for the eagle and birdie.
It does.
Velediaz's shot is a little lower, and she's going on that inside left route.
If you do, she threw a forehand, but if you hyzer out and you end up on that left side where Macie is, it's a very tight angle, and so most players will be pitching something in to the gap, but the further up you can pitch, the better you're going to be.
Ohn's drive flexed out a little sooner than she wanted. She's in the woods on the right side. Oh, that was lucky.
Very.
Just talk to it a little bit.
It's nice seeing some MPO players on the bags this week because they are off.
Valerie's third shot makes it over the hill, hyzer's left.
Look, I've just been chopping and chopping away.
This is a par 5, so Valerie can still save par from up there.
Ohn not in an easy position, but gets to a good one for her next shot. Macie going with the forehand into the gap. I do like that play to get more distance, and she does stay on the edge, so it paid off.
This is Ohn's third shot. Forehand flex through the gap.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love it. Ohn's putting for birdie, and her drive was in the woods.
Ooh, Henna.
Henna's putting for eagle.
Like I mentioned, that's what I like about this course. If you pure your drive and one other shot, you've got eagle looks, you've got birdie looks. But if you have a bad tree kick, you're not out of it.
Valerie's fourth shot hits some trees and she has landed short.
If you have 3 bad tree kicks, you might be out of it. Macie's forehand approach puts her inside the bullseye. A nice touch forehand from Valerie to put her under the basket.
Henna for eagle.
Off the top. So she'll have to settle for a birdie.
Oh, darn.
Shoot. Oh.
Ohn almost had the birdie just off the front of the cage. Macie's in for a birdie.
Ohn in for the par.
Henna in for the birdie.
And Valerie in for the bogey. There were 3 eagles on the hole today. Haley King, Silva Saarinen, and Evelina Salonen.
Hole 7, par 4, 475 feet. Off the tee, you can be aggressive and try to throw a shot that hyzers around the corner, but that is not necessary in order to get a birdie or a par. You can simply throw straight, land short, and throw up to this log that you see here and get yourself a birdie putt. However, this green, it's a little intimidating. It's very small and it drops off very quickly. So even though you find yourself up here putting for birdie, you might just pitch it up and have a drop-in par. Henna Blomroos up first. A nice high shot, but you do not want an aggressive hyzer finish.
That was beautiful.
Oh, that was perfect. She didn't finish aggressively and slide down into the woods on the left. She's basically still in the path.
Macie also with a good shot pushes a little bit more straight, so she didn't quite come back into the fairway, but is in still good position with the distance she got. Ohn pulls her shot to the right side, gets some good distance, but is again in the trees on the right.
Valerie's shot hyzering a little earlier than you want, and she's dropped down short on the left side. She'll be up first with her second shot from a knee. She was going for a forehand turnover, but didn't get that angle and release point correct, and now she's on her third shot from the high side.
Catching another tree on her third shot and does not get the beneficial kick.
Ohn tries to flex that halo D down there, but hits some hanging vines or branches and drops short. This will be her third shot. She went back to the leopard 3. And she is at that log where I told you that is a sketchy putt. It's right there, but I love the angle Macie's landed at with her drive. I do prefer the high right side versus the low left.
Definitely.
Blomroos back to a knee. We've seen a trend here.
That was a beautiful shot.
It was.
I mean, inches away from landing her at the top of the green. but I wouldn't have changed anything about it.
Valerie misses the gap for her upshot and kicks left down the hill. This is Ohn Scoggins for par.
Oh, and Mrs. Left luckily doesn't go all the way down the hill, but she is outside of the circle now. Again. Her comeback putt is right side.
Henna for birdie.
Oh,
Just a bit short. She'll have a drop-in par. Ohn connects. She'll be taking a 6 here on hole 7.
Valerie will also be taking a 6. Henna in for par, and Macie in for par. That did play as the most difficult hole today for our FPO field.
Really?
Yeah,
I wonder if it was the green that made it difficult.
that would be my initial guess, but I saw quite a few people who got stuck on like the left side, or heard people who got stuck. So probably a combination. Hole 8, par 3, 283 feet. This one, I think, causes the most pause when you walk up to it for the first time, because you're throwing downhill, but then it comes back up, and the basket, you can't see it from the tee, and it looks like it goes a lot more right. But realistically, a straight shot that follows the path will still set you up with like a circle 2 or a step putt to the basket. If you want to throw a forehand and maybe try and get a skip up into circle 1, that's a good option. The backhand is a very difficult line to hit.
Blomroos up first.
She's gonna do it anyway.
A backhand
Okay.
downhill shot. The angle was a bit off and it has cut rolled down the hill to the left.
If you want to throw the backhand off this tee, it needs to either land really softly, or you need to play it into the ground on the correct angle to get it to just stop.
Macie hits those 2 trees right at the corner you want to sneak past to have a birdie look.
Wow.
And Ohn's destroyer just keeps going, and she's in the circle putting.
A lot of action from that one. Oh, see, I actually liked Valerie's shot almost the most. If she had hit right of that tree, she could have gotten the flare skip off the road. Still not in terrible position because she's not surrounded by the trees. You wouldn't have known it though. Great shot.
Henna with a beautiful Annie, she'll have a drop-in par. Oh, I love the little log skip. Ohn Scoggins for birdie.
Yes, Ohn.
Way to punch that in there.
Shaking off her hand like she... You ever do that when you throw and then you, like, all the blood rushes to the tips of your fingers?
When I first started and I just threw hours and hours a day, I remember that feeling.
It's like if you sleep on your arm funny and it falls asleep and it's all numb like the static channel on the TV.
What's worse, that or when you hit your funny bone?
Ooh. Funny bone is a shorter period of time. Like,
You're
I feel
right.
like it's more intense but not as long.
Welcome back, Ace Runners. Hole 9, par 3, 250 feet. Can't really see the basket from the tee. It's not that far though. It's just a nice Anheuser shape. If you don't have that shape, you can kind of throw straight and maybe pitch up and play it for par. I feel like everyone at this level should be able to park this hole with some type of shot shape they have in their arsenal. I like a backhand turnover. I've seen some successful, more like corner-to-corner angled shots than a nice rounded rainbow, per se. Ohn Scoggins flex forehand inside corner. I don't know if that was intentional, but Ohn's putting for birdie.
I did a warm-up round with Stacy and Ellen Widboom, and they both tried that forehand inside gap. So I've gotten to see it like twice now. Henna catches a tree on the right side. Doesn't get all the way up to the basket.
Macie's forehand left side of the tree. She's putting for birdie from 40 feet. Mandujano, the backhand shot, and she doesn't give it the turnover angle. It was more of a straight shot for her. Tries to pitch up, but she makes it to circle's edge. Par is still an option for her.
Velediaz for birdie.
Thanks, I thought I made it.
She gives it the juice, but she goes past the basket.
Henna tries to loft her birdie putt in, and she will have a drop-in par.
Yes, Ohn.
Ohn reaches. Birdie putt is in. That's 2 in a row for Ohn Scoggins. We've erased one of those doubles now.
Yeah.
Valerie, what a par save from Valerie.
Macie in for par as well. And after that lofty birdie putt, Henna is not left with much, and she'll tap in her par. Henna and Macie just keeping it really clean on this front 9. That was a fun front 9. I'm really liking this course. I like seeing how everyone plays it a little differently. We check in on the leaderboard. Stacy Ronsley, 5 down through 12. And Haley King, Henna Blomroos, Silva Saarinen. I mean, I just love seeing so many people under par. It's fantastic.
We have a full field of 90 women this year in our professional division. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the front 9 of the day 1 coverage of the U.S.W.D.G.C. If you'd like to support me, Holly Finley, you can pick up my Innova Star Color Glow Tour Series Speed 7 Fairway at your favorite online disc golf retailer or at Innova Store for the best prices.
And if you'd like to support me, you can find my Tour Series Convict at the Dynamic Disc website and a couple other runs of Raven Discs either there or at the Another Round website. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the back 9.